away all of the meta ones.
Yeah, and as pro draft is occurring, we're gonna get that scene swap now, so we can see the bans that have come through. Kha'Zix, Hecarim, Xayah all banned away by the side of Lotus. Nunu, Seraphine, and Udyr banned away from Orbital Chrome. Lotus, though, going to opt to this Caitlyn, and this is something Alistar has been playing a lot, and we should see some Halo Blades technology coming out tonight.
Caitlyn's in an interesting position because she's starting to come up, right? Like the changes in the game state have kind of benefited her. She is obviously that, a late game hyper carry at a certain point. Headshot damage is insane. Everything like that can really work out for her. She does typically have a bit of a mid-game fall-off. I think the way the items work right now, we might not see that, especially with the way people are building, right? Typically, we're getting, their Mythic, whether it's Kraken Slayer or Gale Force, into then, Collector, into potentially like Infinity Edge, and then you get a Zeal item. And so the biggest issue Caitlyn has is that attack speed drought, because you can't get to the headshots nearly as quick. So it'll be interesting to see what build path we go, because Kraken Slayer into something like the RFC is very doable specifically for Caitlyn because of that drought. Whereas Sivir is so far onto the other, diving board of attack range, it can be a bit of a struggle. The wave clear, excellent, especially with the current Sivir patch, where you start tier, go into Essence Reaver, into Manamune, into your Mythic. You clear waves like that. It is crazy how quickly you do it. So it's an interesting setup. They are picking Rel into Braum, though, which is curious to me.
Yeah, right. You just throw up the shield, stop a lot of the damage coming through. You can even stop the Sivir boomerang from hitting onto the Caitlyn as well. And I like the duo that Lotus have picked up. It is the Halo Blades Caitlyn and the Braum. So if Braum procs the first bit of passive with his Q or an auto, bang, 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 Halo Blades will complete the concussive blows. Orbital Chrome, though, in second phase of bans, will actually pull away two junglers from the side of Lotus. Graves, Zac, both taken off the board. Lotus going to opt for some mid lane pressure in Victor and Orianna.
And this does seem to be the Echo pick once again, whereas Lotus, they still have Sejuani available, they still have Rek'Sai available. There are still a lot of tanky crowd control junglers available that would fit their composition very nicely. We'll have to see if they opt into a more aggressive one. We saw Lee Sin last week. Bit of a bumble, though. It really didn't do a whole lot. Viego is available and very good in the jungle. There are some other picks like the Nidalee that you can get away with, even Gragas to an extent. And so they're gonna save it for the absolute last pick. Lotus are really thinking about this one. We're sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jungle bans out of a total of 10 bans.
Yeah, and a lot of pressure, and we get a Lucian picked up for Lotus as well. Last pick should be the jungler regardless, though, as solo laners can be figured out at a different time. Where the Vladimir and Lucian are going is unbeknownst to me. Gragas is the pick here for Lotus in the jungle. Getting more ability power under their belt makes some sense. Orbital Chrome, last pick of the draft. To round out your front-to-back team composition, it is the Anivia. Makes a lot of sense. Just sort of throw up the wall, burn down the front line, and then move your way onto the backside.
Yeah, and I'm so curious about the Chrome draft. All right, wait, hold up. Totally different. The Anivia pick was going to tilt me a little bit, but Azir has some semblance of salvageability, just because of how high DPS he can be. The crowd control of the Shrima Sand and the wall can be really, really clutch in a lot of moments. The biggest issue for Chrome right now I'm seeing is nothing, actually. Maybe reliable crowd control, but they have Rel, which is just so good at it. I think Chrome might actually so far have their best possible draft of the night.
Yeah, I mean, so far it looks really good, right? They have a clear identity. You have the Ornn and Rel stand in the front line, Azir Sivir DPS from the back line, and Echo picking off whatever bits of pressure that he can from a flank position. I really like what Orbital Chrome have done. They've simplified things down. And this is one of two roads you can go when you're operating within some losses, right? When you get shellacked like you did in first set, you think either one, we completely flip the script. We go some wild comfort picks and just pick whatever we want. Let's just go back to what we know can work. Is the other option for Orbital Chrome, and that's what they've done this time. Pick front to back, play team fights nice and simple, make this Vladimir Sadimir having to kill the front line first, and Lotus could run into some troubles if they aren't ahead early on in this game.
Yeah, and the Vladimir pick specifically is kind of a standout to me because we've seen it played in the last couple of weeks here in the Excellency Heavy League, and it hasn't really had great results any of the times we've seen it. I feel like he's kind of in an odd spot right now where the itemization isn't ideal for him. We all kind of thought Omnivamp in preseason patch. We thought Omnivamp, it was broken before, it'll be broken again, but I think it's in an actually decent spot, except for maybe Volibear, but even that's kind of up for debate. So I think looking at the Lotus draft, that just sticks out like the big red sore thumb to me because, when you look at the things available, Oriana's available, the Azir was available at that point, even like Twisted Fate's available. I'm just not sure what the Vladimir brings to the team outside of this really large team fight presence, but that's a clustered team fight presence, right? You want everybody to be tight on top of each other, just all commingling, no social distancing whatsoever. And then you have Gragas, who is the club bouncer, coming in, making sure you are that 6 feet apart, making space for Jesus. And it just completely throws Vladimir's game plan out the window. He's coming in looking to have a good time, and Gragas is saying, not today.
Yeah, right. And it's sort of a little bit of synergy, right? Cask pushes everyone apart. You want everyone clumped together for the 5-man Hemo Plague. So if they play it well, technically there's an opportunity to get that big Hemo Plague, get a little bit more damage, and then one-shot everyone with the Cask afterward. But it's so hard to execute on, right? And as analysts, we always have to mention ease of execution. Yes, Lotus have... Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that's so... sort of in front of your nose that you can often pass by it. But Lotus have a harder composition to execute on. You have to play well with a Vladimir. You have to get ahead with your Lucian solo lane. Gragas is such a difficult champion to play when behind because if he goes full AP, he's incredibly squishy. Even with that big old belly to tank up some of the damage, doesn't have enough to sustain himself melee range in a team fight for very long. Orbital Chrome, they got all the... Yeah, right. And Orbital Chrome have the pieces to stop that from happening. They have DPS in Sivir Nazir, they have flank from Echo, and they have frontline in Ornn and Rel. Their draft to me is on a different echelon. Lotus are going for comfort. Orbital Chrome going for the solid here in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, my main question was going to be which solo lane goes where. Is it the Vladimir top into the Ornn, or is it in the mid against the Azir? And so as we can see on our stream panel, it is looking to be the Vladimir top into the Ornn with the Lucian mid into Azir. And I think that in a way that's kind of better. You can exploit the squishiness of the Azir quite easily with the Lucian and the jungle Gragas, because early on he's not going to have amazing escape ability. He will obviously have the shifting stance, but he won't have access to the ultimate that is like that cherry on top of escape. Whereas in the top lane, again, my question is, what does Vladimir actually do for you? He's not a high DPS early mage. He's not, I guess he's kind of a split pusher, but he's kind of not at the same time. And Ornn is going to have a field day. He's going to build an early magic resist item, and he's just going to farm away. Even if Gragas comes top, guess what? He built a magic resist item. You're not going to do anything to him. And he's just going to farm forever.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's going to get levels, he's going to pass out his little presence later on into the game, and things can become ever more difficult when those mythics start getting upgraded because of the rework with the new items. Every single mythic in the game can be upgraded, so I'm really trying to think here, how does Lotus execute on their composition? Right, your bot lane has pressure because of just the nature of how Caitlyn plays bot lane. Mid lane will have some pressure, but you're getting outranged by Azir. I don't know. It seems like a really difficult time. Their only point of execution here should be in bot lane, catching Rel out after an engage. But even then, Orbital Chrome are needing to be the ones that fail and flop, and then Braum can capitalize.
Yeah, I do think the very late game mentality that we're going to get from them is probably a Lucian split push. Depending on the build path, he will do okay into the Ornn. I think it'll still be a struggle because Ornn will at that point have Thornmail or something like that, Bramble Vest even, which kind of cuts down on the potential that Lucian has. But it then, if in that scenario you're in a 1-4 scenario for Lotus, you have Vladimir, Braum, Kate, Gragas in one lane, Lucian in the other, and you're just trying to abuse that, right? Like make use of the press the attack, the Kraken Slayer, everything else that the Lucian will build up, and just try and whittle away the Ornn, survive with your lifesteal item, and then just kind of drain tank through the wave and hope that Azir or Echo don't come up and gank your stuff. So that's kind of the late game best case scenario for Lotus. If it comes to a full on knockdown, drag out, team fight, Orbital Chrome just have everything in the kit desired. They got the pipe wrench, the dynamite, the kitchen sink, the TARDIS, like everything is there. Yeah. And they just got to throw it at you. They don't even need to think about it is the other thing. Like this is such a head empty comp that they can just do whatever they want as long as they stay grouped as 5.
Yeah, seems to be maybe a little bit of a problem here, but Fever are known to turn things around when it gets sticky. Taking a bigger look at the league, though, quickly, it's Lotus sitting at the middle of the pack with their last game last week getting rescheduled to looking to close this book on outright their next chapter against Orbital Chrome. Right below Lotus, sit this team at an 8-10 record, right below where Lotus may be sitting when their game is played if they do take another loss. So these teams are neck and neck, looking to push it to an advantageous state for a push for playoffs, though. With 13 seconds left on spectator delay, we'll be right back with our casters for our first game in set number 2.
Welcome to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. It's your favorite juice box. It's the guy joined by the DJ. We are ready to rock. We are ready to roll, and we are ready to see if Series 1 has had its toll on Orbital Chrome, looking for a little bit of redemption in their second on-air series of the night. How you feeling about this one, DJ?
Look, Assistant has assured me in the in-game chat that they are winning this game. The mental's reset. He's ready to go. But I do have my concerns because he just got done playing the best AD carry in the league in Palm Goat and kind of got stomped. And now he's up against arguably the second best AD carry in Alistar. And Alistar has come to play in this lane. He's got the Hail of Blades Caitlyn out to try to partner with this Braum, get that Braum passive stacks up even quicker than normal.
I will give it to you that Alistar is one of the better AD carries in this league. I will disagree with you in that he's the second best. You know, you always have to keep in mind guys like Vark running around who are just absolute animals out here on the Rift. But Alistar definitely going to be a worthy adversary of Assisted. And there is a whole lot of alliteration in that sentence as you can see them creeping their way over to the bottom side. Actually, I totally misread that. Blue side went the blue side.
Yeah, blue side on blue side. I think one other thing that needs to be pointed out here, and I think maybe a bit of forgetfulness from our analyst desk there. Accelerate is not a new player in the heavy league here for Excellency. This man was on the All-Pro first team last year for Anarchy, is an absolute monster. And I know that Crooked Serpent has been absolutely huge in multiple games in the past for this Lotus team. But with this substitution, I certainly don't think they're going to lose anything in terms of mechanics. As we know, Accelerate can absolutely bring it. And I think Zephyr may be having a conversation with our friends Necrox and Doctor after this one, Juicebox.
Yeah, noobs. No, I do agree with you. I think Accelerate is an awesome player. He obviously was super good last season. As we have a little bit of trading, an assisted forced a flash early. That is really unfortunate. Alistar and Mr. Kiwiism getting in down and dirty real quick. But what I was saying was, I thought Crooked Serpent was probably the second best weak side top laner in the league. Accelerate, he's playing a Vladimir, right? Yes, you can leave Vladimir up on an island with the Ornn, but you really do want to get that Vladimir ahead. You want to try to get him as strong as you can, as quick as you can, and against an Ornn, you're kind of just chilling.
Yeah, you are going to be just chilling. I have a weird feel about Vladimir. I feel like the itemization is a little weird for him. I haven't really seen a lot of Vlads do a lot of good, but I think it's best put honestly by Starling in chat there. It's either the Sadamir or the Chatamir. You know, you're either really going to carry or you're just going to do absolutely nothing on this champion right now because you're just not going to do any damage. So we will have to see. Again, Accelerate is the kind of quality top laner that can pilot that one, and he does have that free lane against the Ornn, who will still be providing the ornaments later on in the game, buffing up all of his teammates. But the Vladimir can get access to the team. Even with an Azir on the enemy line, he can pool underneath the Azir soldiers and try to get an engage that way. So we'll have to see if Accelerate can pilot this very volatile champion to success for the side of Lotus.
Check out Echo on the bottom side. He's in the tri-brush behind the bottom duo. And Alistar and Mr. Kiwiism could be caught out. Flash already forced from Alistar. Trap does not land on Derikos. And first blood goes over to the man who looked real good on the Rengar when nothing else was going well. Echo, jungle, this is what you want.
Absolutely. And, you know, Orbital Chrome's first two matches did go a little bit rough, but Derikos was certainly making plays in both of those games, even behind on the Echo in game one. He had multiple huge ultis to win team fights. He had 6 kills on that Rengar after a triple kill. And in his debut for this squad, the substitute jungler now for Orbital Chrome, he is showing up to play, and he's getting an early first blood, which is exactly what you need for this Echo pick to carry. Now he has the power and the tempo to try to get out on this map and cause havoc everywhere he goes.
To go back to something you were saying earlier about Chatamir or Sadamir, what about Datamir? Maybe it's just we were just casting for Papa Francesco. I was just thinking, like, everybody get in the minivan, Dadimir is gonna take you to the finish line. I don't know. It just popped into my head, and then there's the bottom gank. I wanted to get that out there.
I got you. The problem I have with that one is the Dadimir is such like a middling thing. You know, like the soccer dad just feels like an average thing. You know, average. You know, dad taking his kid to soccer practice, and I just don't think there's an average Vladimir. I think it's either high or low. That's the only problem I have with that analogy.
Soccer dad is a hero. He is slaving away, driving his kids to practice. Cheering on the sidelines, he is a cheer. Anyway,
hey man, I played competitive soccer for 12 years. I can tell you, my soccer dad was not necessarily a hero.
Well, mine was.
Sorry, Dad.
Anywho, as you can see so far, it is a really interesting division of resources thus far. The Echo getting ahead early for the side of Orbital Chrome is going to feel awesome. The problem is you still have a bottom lane in Sivir without Flash. That is incredibly dangerous. I mean, Sivir, even more so than Caitlyn, needs a lot of time to scale up to get to that late game. And there has been this new lethality Sivir build that has kind of been skyrocketing. Unfortunately, Assisted isn't going for it, but just the fact that lethality Sivir is a thing makes it that much more apparent that, yeah, Sivir is not going to be a valuable member of the team until you get to at least like that 24-25 minute mark. Whereas Caitlyn, she has a strong early game. She drops off a little in the mid game, but then she'll be back to match Sivir in the late game.
Yeah, and it's two very different late games for these AD carries. Sivir wants to give the speed boost to her team and kind of be a part of the engage and then run in.
Ooh, a little bit of a dropout there for DJ. Yeah, here's the fight coming out. Alistair is actually chunked out super low, super early. Mr. Kiwism and Alistair both sitting very unhealthy. Nelson, no, we've been here. We've done this. We're seeing it again. Derikos gets the Dark Harvest, but can't get the kill. And I would say minus some of those biscuits that all three are that both these bottom laners are packing right now, that would be a potential dive. But Assisted chunked out super low. Now he's really playing with fire. Derikos has to run away, and LZ will be able to bully him off the wave.
Yeah, it's a lovely turnaround from Lotus. LZ doing a nice job to show up, anticipating where Derikos would be heading, and they are able to turn that one around onto Nelson. The kill also going in the right man's pockets. Alistair picking up on his first kill of the game. Already has an 11 CS lead over this Sivir, and it's good stuff from Lotus to turn around that play and stop a little bit of the tempo coming out from Derikos, because if he picks up another kill there, we might just be looking at a snowball Echo game, but we'll have to look elsewhere to try to pick up that second kill. But as you mentioned, still pretty far ahead and doing nicely in the tempo is Derikos.
So far, he has had the better look thus far. Accelerate and Ornn, I mean, we can keep looking at this all day, but I don't think much is going to happen between these two. Ornn hits him, Accelerate heals, and life goes on. But it's going to be Derikos and LZ that are going to be dictating how this early game goes. You can see LZ making a move into the mid lane, didn't quite pull it off. You could just see it on the mini-map. And Slash Div on his ear is going to be one of the hardest ganks of your lifetime for this Gragas. That leaves him with one option, the bot lane, or more specifically, as it's been tonight, Nelson.
Yeah, poor Nelson. Always the man to fall first for his team, sacrificing himself. Oh boy, Slash Div.
Oh, Megan is spicy, Megan is saucy. JVL chunks him out super low, and check out the fat man in the jungle. He's creeping over there again, and he is unable to find anything. So the bot lane has been shoved in for a while now for Lotus, and Assisted and Nelson. This has just not really been their night. Assisted already 10 CS down.
Yeah, he has 10 CS down, but it's not terrible. It is that full 10, but they will be able to pick up this wave. The better thing going on for Lotus here is because of the shove and the chunk in mid lane, it has allowed LZ to move over to the Strake, use the priority earned by his laners to take this first dragon. So nice work coming in from Lotus, and not really a setup for macro play, just some good laning coming out, earning them an advantage in the early portion of this game.
Yeah, you're totally right. It is the mid lane that made that dragon a free take. And the bot lane, I can praise it all day. Alistar, Mr. Kiwiism, a top 3 bottom lane in the league, in my opinion. And I don't think you'd find too many people that are going to argue that. They have been doing their part, but while Lucian hasn't got a CS advantage, he almost stopped him from getting the cannon. That would have been really cool. Anyway, while he hasn't been able to get a farm advantage, he has gotten a dragon advantage, and that in itself is a very big win in the mid lane. It's one of those stats that is not going to show up on paper.
Yeah, I mean, those are the things you want to do to help your team out, and that's what Lucian does give you. He gives you prio. He's going to win trades against most mages in the early stages of the game. If it goes really well, the Lucian can just take over and snowball the game. That doesn't really seem to be the case here, just farming well. You do always have outplay potential on that champion because of his mobility later in the game, but will be a little short range, and that will likely be trouble against an Azir later in the game. But hold on here, top lane.
Oh, good flash, and the cask is just going to catapult the Ornn to safety. So, yeah, way to get away from that one. But look at the farm discrepancy in the jungle. 80 to 53 plus a kill. I mean, you're talking a 1,200 gold lead. That is a full component to an item. Derikos is dangerous, and he just got a kill's worth of gold from the Rift Herald charge because Alistar and Kiwiism pushed off the bottom laners from the tower, which I actually think is a mistake because you don't need that Echo getting any stronger.
Yeah, and it's just good macro play this time around from Orbital. They recognize they have the ability to take that Rift Herald in the top side. They go ahead and do it, and now a gank is turned around in mid lane. Another nice set of footwork from Slash. If he did have to flash and ulti to get away from that one, but he stays alive. He will just be able to get back to lane. He's going to get some help from his top laner with the teleport.
Oh.
And this is just going fairly well, I would say, for the likes of Orbital Chrome. They have a CS disadvantage in bottom lane, but the Ornn's doing fine. He's going to scale up and give them some picks, and really it'll be interesting to see. This might come down. Oh, hold on, JVL.
Yeah, JVL is in a whole boatload of trouble. That is an angry Ornn, and he is ornery, and he is trying to get the kill, but Derikos, the man you actually want the kill on, comes in and grabs that one up. 2-0 on the Echo, and let's be real here, that was the easiest kill of this Echo's career. You click. You have done your job.
Yeah, and again, this is going so well. And once again, it's JVL, the man who on so many occasions has just carried this Lotus side to victory.
Oh, can he get the ult? He has the ult, but oh no!
Oh, that feels so bad.
Nelson unable to be the hero that assisted needed. And no one deserves that. That was just a really unfortunate series of events there that resulted in both bottom laners flashes for basically nothing.
Yeah, and I think this is where we see
Nelson.
A little bit of the difference. You can see Alistar just running this lane right now with the Kraken Slayer. He's up 20 CS unassisted, picked up that solo kill, and he has been the consistent performer for the side of Lotus in this season once again. He's second in kill score for 80 carries and second across the entire league, but Lotus just haven't had the second option this season. JVL, the man who so often carried them in big matches last year, struggling once again. He doesn't have a big lead on this Lucian, who should be gaining early game advantages. He finds himself falling in the mid lane once again, and it's going to be so hard for him to operate up against this Azir later in the game with the short range on that AD. If it falls to Alistar again, you know, he is such a good player. You can ask him to be a carry, but sometimes it's just a bridge too far if he doesn't have a support. So it's going to come down to JVL or Accelerate to try to be that second carry. And on the other side, it's the other substitute, Derikos, who has all this gold, all of his priorities, 30 CS up against his jungle counterpart, and he's going to be given the carry pants here for Orbital Chrome. It will be a battle potentially of the subs to see who can help move this win for either one of these teams that are battling for that 6th playoff spot.
It is on a knife's edge thus far. 1,500 gold is all that the lead is at 15 minutes, which, funnily enough, has been the closest we've seen the gold be this far into the night. Dragon, though, this could be the first real team fight. All 10 people on the map are here, and let the Palapalooza of pain and bruises begin.
Yeah, here we go. Everybody's ulti is up. Flash is not available for the Sivir or the Caitlyn. We'll have to see how this goes.
Ooh, Accelerate trying to pull the trigger here. That Magnet is on to 3, and Accelerate's alone in the backline. However, Nelson is already dead, assisted with just a sliver of health. However, that is the win for the side of Orbital. Sorry, not Orbital Chrome. Lotus, actually, and this could be even worse. They're trying to chase down this Ornn, but catching Ornn is insanely tricky. However, they do get to the second dragon of the game for Lotus. Necrux is clapping his hands very happily, and they have closed up this gold gap significantly.
Yeah, now just down only 500 gold. They have that second Drake in their pockets, and we talked about the 2 substitutes. They can so often be a boost to their team, as we do have a Mountain Soul will be spawning in this game, by the way. It's Accelerate in this fight who wins out for Lotus despite falling. He forces so many members away. He zones them out for the likes of Lotus, and it results in a split fight. And Alistar, so strong on the backline, is able to take down Terracos. It leaves the likes of, I believe it was Nelson, just out on an island after the jungler falls, and that allows them to win out on the fight 2-1 and pick up the Drake. Now Terracos trying to get something done here. He does still have his ulti, I think.
Yeah, he's not trying to get something done. He is getting something done. LZ is going to die. That is a 3-in-1 Echo. That Echo can basically pop a Caitlyn, no matter how strong that Caitlyn is, if he plays it correctly, and we have no reason to think that he won't. Alistar, though, he does want to get a little magic happening for himself. Ultimate's still available for Terracos, and all they're able to do is kind of watch as their blue buff gets taken away. And I don't know if this is a good call, Alistar. You're still in a really risky situation. You know the Echo is there. This could be a tower dive very easily.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm very surprised they're backing away, but you do see there's a lot of members running up here for Lotus, both the support and jungler coming to help Alistar out. So maybe didn't quite have the time. I do think if it was perfectly executed, I agree with you. I think that could have been a dive angle onto Alistar, but nevertheless, the 80 carry will survive, remain deathless there at 3-0-1. Solid start to this game for Alistar. Currently, the leading member in the gold category, 1,000 ahead of any other member in this game. And he will be the one that Lotus looks to carry them in these fights, just as he did in that first one. You see some skirmishing potentially going to happen around top lane as waves being cleared, but with no objectives really on the map. Teams might just be waiting for a couple of minutes, 2.5 to be exact, for that next Drake to spawn as Lotus continue their crusade towards that Dragon Soul.
Yes, indeed. It currently is a 3v2 on this top side. Both teleports are available for Lotus, but the combo is just awesome. Shut down goes Alistar, and it goes on to Terracos. Accelerate is here, though. The Coling. Oh, what an ultimate from Terracos. He will finally drop, but we have a 2v1. No, a 2v2 as JVL re-enters the fray. We got a little Gragas versus Sivir action going on the bottom side. However, JVL with the red buff continues to just chip away. Flash forward, E forward, and maybe he bit off more than he can chew. Explosive cast saves the day, though, and they will clean up the remainder of the kills. JVL baited them to turn around, and that was their mistake.
And JVL is back, baby. He's here to clean it up and prove me wrong. He comes in with the assist. He picks up the double buffs on the first kill after Terracos is forced to ulti back under the turret. They did pick up Alistar. It was a brilliant engage from Orbital Chrome. I really like the play. They're able to get 2, but there's just nowhere for them to run. And once the double buffs are onto that Lucian, you're just not going to get away from him. He's got the cooldown reduction from the blue buff. He's got the slow from the red buff. He's just going to dash you down, and that's exactly what happens. He knows he has the support of his teammates to flash in, clean up the kills, and JVL, now 3-1-2, is going to be a significant force in this game.
Oh, Assisted is just getting bullied right now. He has fallen significantly behind the pacing of the Caitlyn, and Caitlyn is running away with this matchup so far. I honestly think that Dragon RNG could not have been worse for Orbital Chrome, even just tonight. I mean, your main carry at the moment, once again, is Derikos on another one of these assassins, and his goal is to assassinate. There is no better soul for surviving in an assassination attempt than Mountain Soul. It gives you that shield. It gives you the extra resistances to survive the Echo. And if the Echo can't kill you immediately as we get further into this game, what's the point of having an Echo?
Yeah, that is the point of having the Echo, is to burst out. And yeah, they have been extremely unlucky. Double Ocean Soul in their first 2 games when they were already behind. And now that Mountain Soul, it's been, the Summoner's Rift has not been a fan of Orbital Chrome tonight, as we are posturing around this third Drake.
Everybody has come once again, and there's Gage even goes into the pool, and Nelson once again dead at the very beginning of the fight. Shut down on Derikos as well. It's a 3v5. There's the ultimate from the Braum just to make it easy. And this is already going from bad to horrific once more for Orbital Chrome. And watch as everybody moseys their way over to the Baron pit.
Accelerate is back, baby, and he's here to accelerate this game out of Orbital Chrome's hands. That was a 5-man Vlad Flash ult right there. It won the fight from the moment it started. That was absolutely brilliant. We questioned it in the draft. It could be the Chadamir or the Sadamir. It is the Chadamir in this game. This man has absolutely destroyed Orbital Chrome in these first 2 team fights. He's won his side, the third Dragon and the Baron.
Yeah, right now he's rocking the Mad Vladimir, and he is doing a great job of carrying this game. We wanted to see it. Well, we are seeing it. And you know what's wild? He's not even coming away with the kills in these fights. He only has 2 to his name. It's actually these 2 80 carries that are racking up all of his hard-earned work. And wow, yeah, he's super strong. Imagine like a 8-kill Vladimir at the moment, which he could very well have gotten to. Granted, you still do have 2 big 80 carries that you can't even itemize effectively against, because you still have the Vladimir and the Gragas to worry about. And maybe in a world that is best case scenario that Accelerate isn't getting all of these kills, but he has definitely had the MVP performance in these fights. A severe lack of respect for the Vladimir pick so far in both fights coming from Orbital Chrome.
Yeah, there are still threats available for Orbital Chrome. Despite all of these huge teamfight losses on these engages, they're still only 2k gold down. It's now a 1.5k. If they can hold up this Baron buff, they're still very much in the game with an Azir and the Sivir for the late game, but you just have to be so worried about these engage threats. I mean, Accelerate, we talked about him. The all-pro top laner from last season on Anarchy, and he is just showing out in his first game on this Lotus lineup. This might be the push that Lotus has needed. We talked about their struggles to find secondary carries to pick up wins this season, and as good as Crooked Serpent has been for them, what a first game performance. And this is what we can expect out of Accelerate. I might have to go back to my tier list and completely rewrite it.
Accelerate is definitely amping up the squad, and that is no disrespect against Crooked Serpent. Crooked Serpent is an incredible weak side player, and she has been since she entered the league, but Accelerate is the carry that can make this game so dangerous. I'm curious to see how Accelerate would look on a more supportive style top laner, but when you look this good on a carry top laner, you don't even really need to go with the supportive styles. Just let him carry. He even played weak side, really.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm sure we will see a little bit more of it, maybe even in this series, but as it is now, still pretty strong on that Vladimir. As you mentioned, you know, the filthy AD champions, the range champions, here to steal all the kills, but now there's an engage coming from Chrome.
Yeah, this is once more the classic desperation attempt that Chrome has kind of been doing a whole lot as they started to fall behind, and they use the Ornhorn and come away with nothing. Call of the Forge God just kind of wasted there, and yeah, they got the flash from LZ, but LZ hasn't even been the engage tool for Lotus. So what? Cool, that's great. You got it. I'm happy for you, but you didn't get that much.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that one that badly, though, because there's still a minute 30 on that Dragon timer for the Soul. You will have that ulti back. You can see it's already halfway off cooldown, and LZ was just alone in that mid lane, so it's really an Ornn ulti for a flash, and that ulti will be up for the team fight. The flash will not, so I don't mind that effort, particularly against Baron buff, but they do need to get in a better position to contest this Drake, because right now, they're just being choked out of vision, and that's going to set them off on a bad foot already for this Soul fight.
Right, and this is where getting those ultimates out is really bad, right? Like, you don't have those ultimates to have that safety when you are going into the jungle or maybe to take a fight. So, yeah, they're completely snuffed out when it comes to controlling these dragons, and this is Soul. It's up in 25 seconds. Now, yeah, they are teleporting back in, but they're already on the back foot.
Yeah, they need to try to walk in and clear some vision. They do have all their ultis back up. Everything available here. 4 flashes available. Only ADCs is on cooldown for Orbital Chrome. 4 flashes still available for Lotus. Here comes
I don't like that whatsoever. He stepped on the Caitlyn trap, but you, sir, are not nearly tanky enough. ADC 2021 is realizing that ADCs can still pump out quite a bit of damage as Dragon Soul is getting taken, and they are completely trapped out. They just charge right in, and that is the worst decision they ever could have made. Accelerate already has 1, about to get 3 more. There's the ace in the hole from the Caitlyn to grab a second one. No, Vladimir finally reaping the rewards for all of his work, and great cask just to finish off the remainder of the team. Orbital Chrome step aside because Lotus is installing Firefox from here on out.
Yeah, Lotus absolutely smashing him in this fight, and 2 things leading up to that in the build-up that I think I want to talk about. The Ornn here with a bit of a weird build coming out with the Turbo Chem Tank and the Gargoyle Stoneplate. It's great against the top side of Lotus. They have double AP champions there, but it's not great against Caitlyn, who absolutely chunked him out to start the fight. That made Orbital Chrome afraid. They didn't want to engage. They end up engaging too late as the Soul goes down, and then they run happily into the waiting arms of the already fed Accelerate, who says, "Oh, I'm just going to use all of my abilities and blow up your entire backline that just sped themselves right into my waiting arms." Blows them up again. It's another great engage, and they don't even have to try hard on this team fight. Orbital Chrome basically just offered themselves to Lotus. They happily accept the gift. They take the Soul. They rush down, take 2 inhibitors, and now this game's been blown wide open.
Yeah, no, Lotus has been jumping on Orbital Chrome like Patrick onto a Krabby Patty at 3 a.m. It has been a bit of a nightmare so far. And, you know, this was their best game of the night, is the worst thing. This is the best they've looked so far, and they're still behind several thousand gold. They are down the Soul 0 dragons to 4. And, you know, if you want to try and maybe find some criticism for Derikos, it has been his ability to manipulate around the dragon to set for these big objectives. Now, Baron has been started. It's completely warded. Derikos is in blind daylight, and he's just going to have to try for a miracle steal here as everybody is just like, oh, cool, yeah, run it back, jump in here.
Yeah, it's great zoning from Kiwiism and Accelerate. It's going to be a free Baron. There's just, like you said, not enough setup, again, from Orbital Chrome for this objective. Derikos and his team have just not been getting to these spots early enough. They haven't been clearing out vision. They haven't putting themselves in good situations. He's 1 for 5 on the 6 now on the major objectives. Just that 1 Rift Herald to his name.
I think something too.
I think the second one went over to Lotus.
You're right. Yeah, okay. I thought you meant throughout the night.
No, just this game, yeah.
I do think he's 1-9 on dragons, though, for throughout the games we've seen so far. Maybe even worse. Actually, yeah, he's way worse. He's like 1-12. But Okay, this is it. This is the last tower, and they are pulling the trigger. Nice block there from the Braum, but Derrickos does have a great stun onto
This is
2.
better.
Accelerates in a horrible spot, and great damage on the respawn, but you're down. Boom, big Shurima shuffle, and that is gonna end up with a 2 for 0 on that. No, 2 for 1 on that specific play, assisted with a great boomerang toss.
Alistair's still alive, though.
Still alive. He's at full health. He has double buffs. He has the LZ. He is fully equipped to take this last inhibitor. Somehow, even though it was a great fight, Orbital still comes out way behind.
Yeah, it's just the nature of the fact that they are behind 6k gold going into that fight, and Alistair is just so incredibly strong on this Caitlyn. We are way past the mid-game power trough for her. She's got almost 4 items now, and he is absolutely dishing out the damage. He went relatively untouched and was the only member of Lotus to dodge out on that Shurima shuffle into the ulti from Slashdiv. It was a brilliant play from Orbital. I think they played that about as well as they could this time, staving off the engage of Accelerate. They stuffed him in the backline, they got him to use the stopwatch, and they took him down at just the cost of most of the health bar of ADC. I like the effort, but when you are down 6k up against the Mountain Soul, this is what happens. It has to be even better than that for Orbital to do it. They can still. They have an Azir that's on 3 items, has the upgraded Leandri's Anguish. They can make this happen, but they're going to have to play it absolutely perfectly, Juicebox.
What? And where's their heal cut? Yeah, they got the Morellos on Echo, but he is not going to have a huge heal cut, damage. He's just going to hit one person and make sure they don't heal. The Bramble Vest on Ornn is great, but that you have to hit him, right? Like, you got to actually attack the Ornn. That's not really who Lotus is looking to be attacking here. Azir and Sivir need to step it up, and
Look at that damage, Alistair
is already almost dead, assisted with just a sliver of health as well. Ace in the hole. Doesn't quite hit the mark, but Accelerate and LZ will. LZ, I do believe, came away with the double kill. Vladimir gets one too. And ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up game 1 between Lotus and Orbital Chrome.
Yeah, it's that man, Alistair. We talked about the 80 carries in the 2 matches tonight. First it's Palm Goat, now it's Alistair just running over this Orbital Chrome team. It wasn't just him, though, in this game. It was Accelerate, newly subbed in from that amazing performance last season on Anarchy, now on the top side for Lotus, who was the big man in the initial team fights. But all of that action allowed Alistair to farm up, continue to get kills, continue to solo kill assisted. And by the time we got to that late game, even with an Azir Sivir, Alistair could just stand at range and just destroy them.
It was really hard to watch, but this was their best game of the night, and hopefully to talk on that, we are going to throw it over to our analyst. So analyst, come on, man, give me something bright about this game.